Interviews are a skill that every documentary filmmaker needs to have. And I don't think there's a wrong way to shoot interviews per se. So don't necessarily think that this is an instructional video so much as maybe if you're looking for some inspiration on how you might structure some of your interviews. Our documentary that we worked on a couple years ago with the Maine Aquaculture Association and the Gulf of Maine Research Institute came out a few months ago, and I'm finally getting a little bit of time to sort of look it over and just think a little bit about what worked, what didn't work. Ultimately, I'm really proud of this project. So is Spencer. We're really pleased with the way this came out. The producer on the shoot was Trixie Betts, working with the Maine Aquaculture Association. So she was conducting the interviews, which freed up Spencer and myself to focus on just the production side of things. So we were doing cameras, lighting, and sound all between the two of us, except for the last day we brought on our friend Nick, who we've collaborated with on a few of our favorite projects recently. The documentary was finally released. We did a premiere for it about a year ago. And then it was making its way through some of the film festival rounds for a little while. But now it's out. The link is in the description. It's a pretty long documentary. It's like 28 minutes, but definitely worth checking out. I think it's a really interesting story. Today, we're not going to be talking about the story at all, though. We're just going to be talking about the technical side of things. So let's get into these interviews, and we'll just do a quick breakdown, and we can learn from what worked. If you see anything that you're like, oh, you could have done better with X, Y, and Z, let us know down in the comments. We're always looking to improve our interviews. So this first interview is on the front porch of a house on an island near the floating dock where they do all of the work for this oyster farm. The owner of the farm knows the owner of his house, and so they let us use the house as well as turn on the generator, so we had power, which is great. Here we have a covered porch, so heavily backlit. There was a thunderstorm that had just rolled through, so we have pretty dark background. So we were using our Smallrig RC450 light with a 36-inch softbox, and that's camera left. And then we've got two cameras here, so we're shooting both of our FX6s, sort of a medium shot and then a tight shot. Key light on the left, no rim or fill, pretty contrasty shot. And then the microphone that is boomed overhead is my DPA 2017 shotgun that's hardwired into my bag, recording on a MixPre 6.2. Two FX6s, as I mentioned, and we're shooting with the Xeen CF cinema lenses. And so our A cam is a 50 and our B cam is an 85. So we've got sort of a medium tight combo there, and pretty pleased with the way this one came out. All right, so this next filming location is in a boathouse out on the docks in Harpswell, Maine. This boathouse is so good. It's definitely one of our favorite interview locations that we've ever shot in. It's a tight space. It's a little busy, but it's so much fun. And I think it's got a really nice, authentic vibe. We loved to use the windows here in the background for this day. We actually did an earlier interview with one of the apprentices who was going back to school in Montana, so we wouldn't be able to interview him later. So we did that interview on a separate day. That day was overcast, and so we actually opened the doors and shot with him facing the other direction, but in the same boathouse. We were shooting big soft light. This is a bit more of an indoor space, so the microphone I boomed in was the Sennheiser MKH 8050. Again, two FX6s, and still the Xeen CFs. I'm pretty sure this was the 3550 though. Since we were in such a tight space, we had to sort of lens a little bit wider to get a decent amount of space here. Again, we did a medium and a tight, so they would match from before. And no lighting in through the windows because the sun was just shining beautifully. And we didn't necessarily need to balance anything. And then, of course, for that cloudy day shot with the doors wide open, there was just a thick, low-hanging fog over the water that day. So balancing that light was really easy, and that's why we had the doors wide open and shot with what would effectively be like a semi-silhouette type of situation. But really pleased with the way this one came out. Such an awesome location to work in. This next interview, it's definitely one of our favorite frames. It's a really awesome scene. It is completely naturally lit. They are docked right up against a big warehouse, and the warehouse is sort of like an off-white color, like a cream beige color, and so it's just like corrugated metal. And the sun was actually, it's camera left, and was reflecting off of that and creating just like this massive warm lighting source naturally. He's on the boat and the camera's not on the boat. So you'll see like the posts on the right are not moving at all, but he is moving slightly. That was something we toiled over, and it was a bit of a challenge as to sort of how much of an issue that was going to be in terms of framing. Another thing that we were a little worried about was sound. A lot of boats. It's a working harbor. This is in Portland, like right out on one of the wharfs in downtown Portland, right on Commercial Street. And so it's noisy. There's cars in the background. There's planes flying over from the airport that's nearby. And then lots of boats coming in and out. And these big boat motors it's a deep rumble and it's loud. So bit of a challenge. I don't love the audio on this setup. I did my best. I set up a stand with a boom and a shotgun pointing towards him. In the future, if we were to do an interview in a similar setup, I would definitely mic it differently. But just visually, we were thrilled with this location. Again, FX6 with the Xeen CFs. I think we single cammed this one. This one had to be pretty quick. He was working that day. I'm just so thrilled with this. I mean, Spencer obviously did a great job with the color grade. If we could change one thing about this frame, I think that yellow tube on the left bothers both Spencer and myself a little bit. I do, the green algae growing on the post and then the yellow, like the two bottom corners have similar colors at a similar tonal value. I think that balances nicely. I think maybe in a perfect world, we would be able to get rid of the yellow tube, and then we wouldn't need the green post to balance it. No more colorful corners. All we're really left with now is the bright orange elements right behind our subject. We toned them down a little bit in the color grade, but maybe in a perfect world, we would have gotten rid of those as well. But then who knows, maybe the frame is boring. So ultimately, work with what we got. And really what we were going for was authenticity and not taking too much time out of this subject's day. And all in all, this is just one of our favorite interview frames we've ever shot. So very pleased with this one. All right, I don't want this video to go on and on, so I'm going to call it there. But if you are interested in hearing more about this documentary, let me know. Again, the full documentary is available at the link in the description, and we would love for you to go check it out. If you have any questions, let us know. Do all the YouTube stuff down below, and we'll catch you in the next one. Later.